Hello everyone, my name is Peter Terse and I'm a musician and educator here in Chicago. And today we're going to be putting together the saxophone. So the first thing we're going to want to do is grab our neck strap. This is what mine looks like. And put your neck strap on the back of your neck. Give it a little tug, make sure it's all secure. Okay, good to go. Next, you want to grab the neck. The neck will look like this on a tenor. This is called the gooseneck. And this is what it looks like with a mouthpiece for alto. So this is what the necks look like. This is an alto saxophone neck, and this is a tenor saxophone neck. Okay. And this is the most crucial part of putting together your saxophone. You got to grab your mouthpiece in your neck, and you want to put these together first. Because if you try to put the neck on the horn and then you put your mouthpiece, you're doing all this kind of action, and it's actually going to ruin your neck, which is very expensive. So we're going to start with the neck and mouthpiece. Place the neck into the hand like this. Wrap your fingers over it, just like that. And you should want it to be firm here. You don't want this to be able to move. Our little register key here, our octave key here, we need to secure that because that can get broken very easily or bent very easily. Next, you take your mouthpiece and you just very carefully screw it on there. About a third of the way to a half of the way is probably good to start, and you can, when you tune, you'll adjust it. You'll pull it in and out when you're tuning a little bit. Okay? If it's really hard to get your mouthpiece on the neck, you can rub some cork grease or even some chapstick on the cork here. You can just rub it along, and that will make it easier. It'll lubricate it so you can get it on there easier. Okay. So now that we have our neck and mouthpiece assembled, let's set this down. Time to grab the body. So this is the body, the tenor saxophone. We're going to take the end cap off and set that in the case, excuse me. And now we're going to connect our neck strap to the body through this little loop. Be a little loop just below this first side key here. Connect it, make sure you're secure. Now technically you could let go of the saxophone now, but we're always going to keep one hand on the saxophone at all times because we're not going to take any chances. There's no reason to risk it. Okay, now take your neck. Again, similar to how we put on the mouthpiece of the neck, you just want to secure this. You don't want anything to be moving around, anything like that. You want to hold it tight so that nothing gets bent while we're doing this. And then very carefully, put in the top hole here, and just screw it down. There are little grooves on the inside, and you screw down the grooves. If you just shove it straight down, you're gonna warp those grooves. It's gonna change the metal, and that's actually gonna break your horn and make it so that your neck can come out at any time very easily. So by doing it carefully like that, and then slowly tightening this screw right here, that's what makes it so that the neck can't move. Now if I really twist hard, I can get the neck to move. But the whole point is that the neck should not move with a little bit of force, like when you have the saxophone in your mouth. It shouldn't be able to move when the neck shouldn't move freely like that while the mouthpiece is in your mouth. So we're good to go. The saxophone is pretty much assembled now. The last step is putting on our reed and our ligature. So here I have a case full of reeds. Take one out. You wet your reed by putting it in the mouth and letting your saliva wet it. You can also put it in a glass of water, but you don't want to suck on the reed or chew on the reed. Okay. Now you take your ligature, just like this, and slide it over the mouthpiece so that the screws, you see the screws on this ligature? They're always going to face to the right. When you're looking down at it, when I look down at it, that's my right. So I know that the ligature is on the correct way instead of being backwards, because the screws are facing the right. And you're going to want to leave a little bit of room in between the bottom of your ligature and the mouthpiece to slide the reed in. So now, I go like that. Okay. Adjust the reed so that you just see just a sliver of your mouthpiece. At the tip of the reed, you should just see a sliver of it. Almost like you can't see it, like the reed is pretty much covering everything, just the horizon of your mouthpiece on the top. And now we're going to tighten these screws, not as tight as we can go, but just until they're firm. So once I start to get a little resistance, I slow down my screwing. I go each one, okay. That's pretty resistant. You don't need to crank it, you're gonna break it if you do that. Okay, saxophone's assembled, and we're ready to go. Thank you very much for tuning in.